Over the years, we have heard some great stories about our brave ANZAC brigades, but the one not many New Zealanders have heard about is a story about the ANZAC Cyclist Battalion.
We're all familiar with the ANZAC story, thousands of soldiers from New Zealand and Australia who fought in World War I on foot or on horses. But what about those on bicycles? For most of the war, the ANZAC Cyclist Battalion was behind the lines, but in the final year, 1918, they were finally called on to fight on the Western Front. Fast forward 100 years, and a group of Kiwi cyclists travelled to Belgium and France to follow their trails.
There's an identified New Zealand cyclist corps member, and right next to him is a man they couldn't identify. They don't know who he was. And so it's him and his friend, buried together in this beautiful part of France, just remembering each other. Sorry. And to me, that speaks volumes. So, to friendship. Someday!
The New Zealand Cycle Corps, it's almost like an untold story, and it just brings home how difficult it must have been, riding with the bikes that were, 5 times probably heavier than what this is, with a gun on board through absolute mud and utter chaos. A lot of the Kiwis here didn't actually know what they were really fighting for. That's the crazy thing.
We've ridden some pathways and looked across the fields, and you think, this is where the war was. It was bombed, it was raided, and you just think, oh my God, what was their mind? What was in their minds? What were they thinking? And again, it's just tough what they had to go through, and they were tough in those times. I don't think we could have coped with that sort of thing now.
One of those soldiers was Frederick Collett Matthews. In July 1918, Fred helped capture the town of Marfaux, taking dozens of the enemy into custody and even rescuing a few Allied soldiers. 21 members of the Corps were killed or later died of wounds. Fred was one of them. Fred's final resting place has long been a family mystery. His nephew, Bill Matthews, was hoping to find it.
I found that he was buried in a village about 20k to the west of here. We went there yesterday, but there's no known grave, so I wasn't greatly disappointed, but it would have been nice to have found a grave and put a poppy on.
Sadly, Fred's brother also died in the war.
I never knew my grandparents, but those who did said that after their 2 sons were killed, they never ever mentioned their names again, and which was strange. But to us now, that was apparently the way that they handled grief in those days.
But here on the other side of the world, there was finally a chance to honour Fred and his fellow soldiers who took part in a brave ANZAC campaign that few people now remember.
What the Kiwis did here, not just the Cycle Corps, it actually did define our country, and you can't help but feel, yes, it's a waste, but at the same time it actually defined us as a proud nation, and the sacrifices that they made formed who we are today.